This is 5 on your side at 4. Focused on you.
Right now at 4, nearly a dozen teenagers are recovering in the hospital after a weekend mass shooting on Washington Avenue. One teenage boy died, 11 others were injured at a party inside a co-working space. All of the victims were between the ages of 15 and 19. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Kay Quinn. 17-year-old Macau Moore was shot and killed. One 17-year-old boy is in custody today, but other suspects have not yet been identified. 5 on your side's Christine Byers is live outside the office building where it happened. She's here now with more about what the survivors saw when the shooting began. Christine?
Kay, police sources tell me in the past year they've been called to this building about a dozen times, mostly for minor violations like noise ordinance violations, car accidents, and suspicious people lurking around the building. But in the early Sunday morning hours, the call was anything but routine. The building is home to a variety of businesses, including home health care spas and tutoring services with short-term leases. We did speak to one woman who has run a business there for about 8 years. She told us the door is regularly propped open on weekends, so she's not surprised people were able to get onto the 5th floor. Survivors told police a party had been advertised on Instagram at least a week in advance, telling people there would not be purses or guns allowed. But one of the survivors also says as the night went on, people started bringing in purses and bags. There are conflicting accounts of how the shooting started. Some survivors say a group of armed men wearing ski masks came in and started shooting. Others said 2 groups of people started arguing. One of them wanted to take it outside, but they opened fire on each other inside instead. This morning, as we arrived at the building, we found 3 area clergy members gathered in prayer.
I do pray against apathy.
God works through tragedies lots and lots and lots of times and brings good out of those things. He's the one that brings life out of death. And so we're praying that that would happen, that people would see that there is more, that there is something better that they can grab onto here, that God loves them.
I've also gathered more information about the survivors and where they're from. 7 of them have home addresses in St. Louis City, and the rest of them are from St. Louis County, some from Ferguson, University City, and Glasgow Village. Live in downtown St. Louis, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
As the police investigation intensifies, many community leaders are speaking out. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy criticized Missouri's gun laws at a news conference Sunday. Earlier this year, the Missouri legislature failed to ban minors from carrying guns in public. Representative Cori Bush also criticized the failed gun control measure. But when asked about proactive policing today, this is what she had to say.
I don't believe that police should go around trying to stop people and trying to take guns from people. That is not, because we have enough problems with stop and frisk in this country, and so it can easily turn into something we do not want.
Tonight on 5 on your side at 6, our political editor Mark Maxwell will have more reaction and responses to the continued violence at rental properties in the city. All right, let's take a live look over downtown. We finally got some much needed rain Father's Day, but it's another air quality alert day in the bi-state. Meteorologist Gary Frank in today for Scott Connell. He has more in your Weather First forecast.
Yeah, we can't seem to shake this pattern where we continue to have, and some of it is good from a sense that we continue to have these north breezes so we don't have that south wind and it cranks up all that heat and humidity. But anytime we get a front that moves through, you still see that haze on the horizon at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. You see that here at the airport. Our air quality index remains on the orange. I feel like a broken record saying this, but it is important for unhealthy or sensitive groups. I feel it a little bit in my lungs as I'm out and about, so I know you may as well. That's going to be tough for us to get rid of. You'll see where this originates from, mostly in eastern Canada, and really the big picture shows that it's at least around. It may not be quite as thick as much, but it's still going to be around until we at least change this pattern and you know, that wildfire smoke is aloft. Otherwise, we have more of a north-northeast breeze, which is one of the reasons that we see that. As that system moved out, it's clear now. There are a few clouds, but not many. Temps in the mid-80s. That's where we should be this time of the year. A little bit more humidity with that north wind at 10 miles an hour, but we're really going to crank up the heat and humidity over the next few hours, dropping a little bit. But I do think as we head into the next few days, we're going to see those mornings start to warm up as we approach the summer solstice. What that means for us and when we're headed for the mid-90s before our next chance for rain.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Gary. Today we celebrate Juneteenth, the day that honors the emancipation of enslaved African Americans following the Civil War. For generations, black communities around the country have celebrated the day, but it wasn't recognized as a federal holiday until 2021. The name comes from the combination of the words June and 19. On June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and 2,000 Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves they were free. The promise of freedom brought celebrations. Former slaves gathered on Juneteenth the next year and the year after that, and ever since, black communities have observed the holiday with festive family gatherings. All weekend, communities across the area participated in Juneteenth celebrations, from community cleanup initiatives in Castle Point to the Delmar Main Street annual Juneteenth Festival to the big parade in Delwood. Leaders in the St. Louis area have helped make this holiday all about celebrating community. North St. Louis County has been celebrating Juneteenth for the past few days. Leaders came together to put on events for the inaugural North St. Louis County Juneteenth celebration. Leaders called it 5 Days of Black Joy. It was all capped off with a parade this afternoon in Delwood. One North County resident says celebrating this holiday helps her feel connected to the family members who came before her.
I think about a time when my ancestors weren't free and they couldn't celebrate. You think back of all the racism and the prejudice and where only certain holidays were celebrated. I feel like this is our celebration, our holiday.
The final phase of 5 Days of Black Joy is wrapping up right now with a community event in Fairground Park. 5 on Your Side's Holden Kerwicki will have more on those festivities tonight on 5 on Your Side at 5 and 6. The Gateway Arch held an all-day event for the holiday today. Guests had a chance to visit an inclusive history conference. Attendees had a chance to learn about the important untold and less-known stories from various parts of American history, including the Underground Railroad and the first civil rights lawsuits, which have roots right here in St. Louis.
To share the inspiring stories related to the park's mission of commemorating Thomas Jefferson's vision of building a unified continental nation, Dred and Harriet Scott, who first sued for their freedom at the old courthouse, along with the over 300 other individuals who sought freedom through the court system in St. Louis in the 1800s.
This was a free event. It wraps up in just a few minutes. If you missed this educational event, the Arch plans to add a taped version of it on their website. The Missouri Botanical Garden getting in on the celebrations too. There have been a variety of educational events at multiple Mobot facilities today. The Kemper Center at the Garden had a cooking demonstration with the founder of Gourmet Soul, and in Chesterfield, the Butterfly House will have an event highlighting African Americans who have made an impact on botanical science. A new lake takes the top spot in a USA Today readers poll, and chances are pretty good you might have visited this one. Former Cardinal declines his Hall of Fame invitation. Why David Freese is giving a shout out to the fans who don't care one way or the other.